This is a Now Magazine podcast.
Hello and welcome to Now What? I'm Reddy and Samuplay, Now Magazine's acting editor and the host of this podcast. This episode is all about the music. We're talking to soca royalty Nailah Blackman and her producer Anson Soverall, and we're also talking to Issa and Syreeta Singleton, who are the creators of a new HBO Max series called Rap Shit. First up, Nailah Blackman, who you probably know if you've been reading these pages, especially around carnival season. She's the granddaughter to Raz Shorty Eye, the creator of soca, and she, alongside Anson, has been mixing it up on the music scene with like Afrobeat, folk, swing, and dancehall since pretty much the beginning of her career with tracks like Damn Lorraine and Baddish. So we're going to be talking to them about, what 2 years lockdown in Trinidad looked like, how carnival season's bouncing back all over the world, the new music they've been working on while we've all been in our social bubbles, and really just what defines soca music. So here is Nailah Blackman and Anson Soverall. So I got Nailah and Anson both together, the reckless duo of soca and some. So talk to me. So I know I talked to y'all during the pandemic. We were talking about, Nailah, you weren't so down on the pandemic. You were like, this is great. This is a reset. I can change things up.
Yeah, I did initially enjoy the pandemic, just being able to breathe. And I think because, things kind of started back. But before the pandemic, I literally did not stop like getting to the next country. So I feel like I spent most of my time on a plane and the other most of my time was spent performing. And while that is definitely the dream, that's definitely what you want to be doing. At the same time, sometimes it kind of makes it hard to have your priorities like straight or really just have like a clear mind because you're always doing, you're always giving, you're always like, I don't know what other word to say, but you're just always on the go. And I enjoyed being able to think and being able to work on music with a fresh perspective. But at the same time, after a while, it was like, okay, you're overdoing it.
Well, was the bills catching up at a certain time? Is that when you realized you're overdoing?
The bills were definitely catching up, but I think beyond the bills, it was more like, when you're just used to a certain level of pace and shit is just so slow, not necessarily like you're mad at life for being slow, but you're just used to a certain level of work and you need it to feel like yourself and not being able, like, I think Trinidad was just the worst because we were just locked down for so long versus the rest of the world. We had a lot more restrictions and I just felt like it was overdoing it after a while. Like I thought, oh yeah, it might be a 6 months, maybe a year. But like for us, it was kind of like 2 years, which was just too much.
Yeah. No, I mean, I look, I mean, there's lots of debates about that on this side as well. Sorry, I didn't know whose dog that was. Is that Nailah, you have a dog?
Mine, yes, I'm so sorry.
I didn't think people in Trinidad kept dogs in the house. Like, what's going on here? I thought I thought the dogs were like the raccoons over there.
We do. No, we don't say that.
It's like, yeah, no, I mean, like, I certainly, I mean, people still want to be like kind of locked down and stuff right now, right? Because now we're in the seventh wave here in Toronto, and it's like, I mean, like I have, all these different feelings about that. Sure, I want to keep people safe, but at the same time, I feel like the medical system has advanced enough where no one's dying from it, and we know how to treat it and whatnot. So, and I mean, for Trinidad, of course, like, I mean, I know a big industry and a huge part of your economy is carnival, right? So having kind of lockdowns that messes you all up, right? I mean, we talked about how that ecosystem disrupts it. I don't know, Anson, do you have anything to add about like having to lock down and stuff and like being eager to not get back into the mix?
I mean, I used the lockdown as best as I could. I chose to go into music video production, learn how to edit, and just improve my own personal skills. I use it to build the studio I'm in right now. So I'm not mad at it. It was like a reset. It was like a reset for me. So I feel like it's what you make of these circumstances, and I tried to make the best of it. So I mean, obviously, COVID is bad, but hey, what am I gonna do? Just sit back and let it, just depress me, or take the best advantage, which is use it to catch up on everything else. So that's what I did.
Yeah. So then talk to me about like what was it like coming back out of the pandemic and into the last carnival and coming back into the season? Like what are you seeing out there? Like what's different from what it was like before when you're going to these different carnivals, and what I don't know, yeah, like what are all your different like takeaways from that?
I think right now people are like going crazy. I don't know. It's like I feel like it was a reset that Trinidad definitely needed, because prior to the pandemic, we were sort of becoming the bougie crowd. We don't really party. We just come out, dress up, you know, pull our camera phones out. But I feel like people now are so hungry for it. Like every event is just packed. Like people just coming out in the thousands across the not just Trinidad, all the islands. Everything is just super successful. And one thing that I think every Caribbean person could agree on right now, Carnival 2023 in Trinidad is going to be the mother of all carnivals. Everybody and their mother and their grandmother is going to be there. This is going to officially be the biggest carnival, to the point where Tobago has its own carnival this time for the first time around, which is crazy. So it's like the festivities have already started for summer, and it's gonna continue all the way into Trinidad Carnival. So I don't know. I think people are gonna be burnt out. We might need another pandemic when after this carnival just to reset again.
Don't say that. And don't say that with the way things are going. I definitely second everything that Anson said in terms of people are just hungry for it. They're just ready. Like it could be Sharon from down the street throwing a little bazaar. There's like 10,000 people there. Like everybody's just like hungry to get it, like ready to have it. And to me, that's a great thing. I think people needed that. They needed a break from the same old to feel, to appreciate the same old, or even to inspire new creativity, or to be to reinvent the same old, in both ways. Because I think we take a lot of things that we're blessed with in our culture for granted. And I think now that everybody's is just longing and missing, there's this re-inspired way of seeing everything, and appreciation for the things that we lacked during the pandemic. And it's just so much positive coming out of it that you just have to look at it as a blessing, so
Yeah. Well, then I mean, so now you said like the fet in someone's yard is you're feeling the energy there, but what's it like when you're on the stage then? When you're on all these stages, when you're going out, like, is it feeling different?
Is it feeling? It definitely, as Anson said, there's a re-inspired like feeling of I'm happy to be here, because for Trinidad specifically, we started having this mentality of, a little more like bougie,
Standing against the
just
wall and
yeah, that little just come out to, we're not sure if we want to have fun, we just want to look at stuff. But now it's kind of like people are definitely coming out to have fun, so it makes a difference on the stage itself. Because when people are there and they're not sure, they have money, they didn't really struggle for any length of time, so they bought their tickets and they look good, so they kind of just pose in there. Versus now, okay, during COVID you saw a little pressure, but things getting back good now, so you're feeling good, you have money in your pocket, you couldn't go anywhere, now you're outside. There's this feeling of like, we are happy to be here, and I'm also happy to be there. It's a different feeling for me as well, because as I said, like not performing for so long, it definitely took a toll on you in the feeling of like performing so much. It takes a lot out of you, but it also puts a lot into you in terms of like just the workout that I get from performing, because I go hard. But apart from that, just feeling inspired by people, making music that is for the parties, for performance, for that, and being back on the stage again. It gives you this renewed feeling that you're you see what you've been missing, and so you're excited, you're happy to be there, and the crowd is also happy to be there as well. So there's this airy bliss. I honestly cannot wait to come to Toronto for Caravana, because it's been so long. I feel like it's been so long since I've been there,
what, 3 years? 3 years,
it's
right?
like 3 years. And I'm really happy. I'm excited to see Toronto, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, it's actually one thing I want to clarify, because I realized I was thinking that I had it in my mind that 2022 Trinidad Carnival would have been like up and above it, but the thing is, it's like, I guess because travel restrictions were still on and stuff, right? And
actually, they didn't have a carnival 2022. What they had was like they had a few events, but there was no carnival 2022.
I see. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah.
They still had all the restrictions and stuff, and like you had very limited events. So like you had like caps on the amount of people that could attend, and you had to wear masks. And what they did was they created these pods in the savannah where each pod could hold like 6 people, and then there's like pods have to be spaced apart. So yeah, there was visuals of huge events, but there were only like 3 huge events out those pods. That's no carnival.
Yeah.
It's not carnival.
That's definitely not the road experience, and that's definitely not the fun experience either. So we don't really count it.
Well, speaking of that, then, because I mean, one of the conversations that popped up here in Toronto was just like, okay, like, we're here, like you guys have been saying, the pandemic has been a reset. Well, I mean, that's what the cover story one of our writers, Juana Thompson, wrote for us, and now was about how all of our mass bands were like, okay, maybe this is a reset. This is a moment where we could improve our customer service experience, maybe deliver costumes on time, maybe maybe fix up our what are they called, the stormer situation and all that stuff on the road. I mean, are you able to compare?
You can never stop stormers.
You can never. What about Trinidad? Don't they have it locked down though?
There's always a way.
There's always a way. I think the culture of people wanting to storm the ban has changed a lot. I don't think the stopping it has changed. I think people just don't like, back in the day, people wanted to storm a ban versus like nowadays. There's just so much more to do for Carnival that you don't really need to storm a road experience. And then once 6-7 o'clock reach, it's kind of like a free for all, to be honest, in those bans. Like it kind of just ends up like a whole big road party. So I don't think the stormer thing is like a thing as it used to be, you know?
Right. Okay. So then, like, are you able to compare then from what you've seen? I know like you don't usually partake in the road experience always. I mean, you're working and stuff, but like from what you've seen of the Toronto road experience versus the Trinidad road experience, do you have any opinions, or even Toronto versus the rest of the world?
I think all the mass bands. Oh, sorry. I think all the mass bands are everywhere now. It's almost like there's no boundaries anymore, and from what I see, these designers have been going ham. It's almost like 2 years of no carnival. They had all these pent up ideas, so now everybody's just extra. Like these costumes are extra, and I think that now, because of it, it's kind of helped the rest of carnivals to catch up to Trinidad in terms of the level of costuming. And I mean, I'm sure 2023 they're gonna probably find a way to be more adventurous and more ridiculous and probably more expensive. But the mass bands definitely have evolved to a different level of amazingness, if you know what I'm saying.
What were you gonna say there, Nailah?
Yeah, I was gonna say that I actually haven't had a proper Caravana road experience. Because last time I was there for Caravana, I don't think I actually went on the road. I think I left the day of the road, so like I just came for parties, you know. So I'm actually excited to have my first real Caravana experience. To me,
are you on the road this year?
I am.
With who? Are you revealing who with?
Who am I with?
Well, not yet. We're not revealing yet because we in discussions.
You're in discussions.
Management have to step in there.
Okay. Well, now hold on, but here's the thing, because obviously I've never done the Trinidad road experience myself. I want to. My best friends, my whole crew. I know. Nobody takes me to Trinidad, and I can't. I mean, like, so, like, we keep saying we're gonna do it. Like, I'm gonna join the fam when they go, but never did it. But
First of all, Rad, you can't qualify for Trinidad Road if you. What has you? How you've done Caribana, of course, right?
Yeah.
How long is Caribana, like in terms of the length of the road?
Oh, I mean, well, the length of the road is maybe 4 kilometers, I guess, 3, 5.
No,
I don't know.
time wise, like
Time.
what
I mean,
time?
because of the stormers, it ends up taking the whole damn day. It still takes like 12
Listen,
hours. No, like 7 hours. No, I
Trinidad
know.
is what they call expert level. Like, I think you need to go through amateur, like intermediate. You can't just come to Trinidad.
Do I have to go to crop over first? Is that what you're saying?
You probably Miami, maybe go to the UK. Yeah, you need to work your way up. You know,
Wait, you're saying Miami's bigger than Toronto?
I
think
so.
so.
No, I think what he's trying to say is that it's not just how long it is. It's not how big it is. It's about the pace. It's about how long you're gonna be actually needing to stay alive, basically.
Trinidad is different. Trinidad is like for pros, professional fetters or professional masqueraders.
But
or maybe you could just get so drunk that you can't feel your legs, and then that should do the trick.
But this is the thing, right? So this is like, I mean, because the one big difference that always sticks in my mind is the fact that I don't know if you know this, but so in Trinidad, your mass band trucks serve you liquor off the truck.
Yeah.
Right.
Bring up your cup. We don't have that.
Really?
We don't have drinks on the road. Drinks are illegal on the road.
Are you serious?
We have to like hide it in our little like canteens and water bottles and stuff like that. That's not part of the that's not part of the Toronto road experience.
Look at my face.
I can see.
Like, wow. What? Yeah. So what do you do?
Well, we hide it in our little travelers. We like, I feel I actually have a proper like a flask from the Western days that I put my whiskey in. Other people, they mix up their juice bottles and shit like that. But it's all But there's no like unlimited go walk up to your truck and get drinks. None of that. You have a limited supply.
Wow, that's terrible.
That is terrible. First of all, you asked us what's the big difference. I think you just gave yourself your answer. Like,
I mean, I didn't know you'd like.
We drink nonstop on the road.
But then now you're gonna know when you see all that energy when you're on the road from the Toronto people. They're just bringing that from their soul. Like there's no alcohol honestly, doing that for them.
I haven't seen it yet, but I just want to say kudos already because who's doing that sober?
I know, exactly. All right, well then let's talk in terms of reset. Now we know there's like now a reset in terms of the music, right? Or like trying different things. I mean, so talk to me about. I mean, what let me know what's going on off the top with this new album. Like, what are we expecting?
Well, this album is definitely it's very Nailah style in a sense where there's a lot of everything. Me musically, I've never been like one thing. I've always been very ambiguous and very broad in terms of my sound. So I think on this album, you're gonna get a little bit of soca, a little bit of dancehall, a little bit of Afrobeat, even maybe some baile funk. Some stuff that you have no idea what genre is it. It just feels good, just complete fusion. So I think it's just me,
Yeah.
And I think people don't know this, but it's kind of like a Trinidadian listener or Trinbagonian, or I don't want to speak for the entire Caribbean, but in Trinidad we listen to every single type of music. Like when you're listening to the radio station, we'll go from straight soca to dancehall to literally all genres, just like nobody's business. We kind of don't have that like, okay, this is this and this is that. Definitely I represent for soca music, so I'm representing, all right. But it's just some really fun, amazing music that I can't wait to share with my fans and supporters. Amazing. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, listen, okay, you were saying, okay, Trinidad, like they listen to all sorts of music, and then of course I know you've been trying. You've done like your folk music, you've done like the dance music and stuff, right? But but there's also I'm sure a segment of your audience that doesn't want you to do any of that stuff, right? They want you to stick to the soca, no? Or
Well, to be honest, I'm not even sure if that's true
oh,
because I think a lot of people, when I talk to them, and this is not even like social media, this is like people in real life, they always say, I feel like if you're bigger than soca, people always tell me that. And I'm like,
mhm.
why are you downgrading soca? Why are you making it seem like it's somehow like small than it is, you know? But I that's what I get from the people that I speak to that don't necessarily know me personally. You know, they
Right.
always come and say, you should do more than soca, you should do other genres. And I'm like, I do. Like, you know? So and then on social media, a lot of people are like, yeah, you know, so I really don't get that sense of people wanting me to stick to soca music. I think maybe my soca songs just get a lot more attention because that's the genre people know me for.
Right, right.
So they may not say it, but you would see it in like in the reaction or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I noticed it
But
in the reaction to Dingole, right? Where
What do
people
you consider Dingole to be, Rad?
I mean, that's the thing. Dingole, like it's like it doesn't sound like straight soca. It actually brings me back to like more calypso, I feel, right?
yeah, but you know the thing about it is that soca is the soul of calypso.
No,
So
yeah.
soca has different stages that I would say that Dingole is it is an old school soca.
Yeah.
But it's soca.
But
It's what's
is there also a folk element to it, which is probably calypso as well, I guess, or
I would not say that at all.
okay, all right. But no, so I'm thinking about just the comments where like, you see people are like, oh, I love it when she goes back to that stuff. And I think you probably see the same thing when you made Farmer. And again, it's probably bringing us back to like what's the very calypso song off your when you first came out?
And
Oladoy.
Which one?
Oladoy?
you
Is
think
that the one
Olado?
where in the video you're in a fruit market?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's the one, right? So I guess that's like what when people can remember, oh, this is like that song she did way back when. That's when they did dish that kind of comment out, right? But then like I mean, because like I mean, like I'm thinking of like actually like because of when I was like looking at your new music, I was just thinking of I remember like I was thinking back to like okay, your Badish with Shensia, and then I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking of Shensia's new album now, right, where she's trying all sorts of pop music and R&B as well as sticking to dance hall. So is that what we want to do? Like we want to make sure we keep our soca, but also have these other elements interacting with it in the new album?
I wouldn't say it's that far just yet. I mean, we definitely might get there
I
one day,
think
but
so.
I wouldn't say it's that far.
I think so, though, Nyla.
You do?
Yeah, because I think that was a really nice way he put it because we do have a lot of, I like to call this project a world album. So it has all the elements of like the popular world genres right now, and
Mm-hmm.
soca is included in that. So I think that it's our attempt at like bridging the gaps between the Africas and the soca and the Latin and the soca and bridging the gap with European sound and North American. So like to be honest, I would say it's like the most fusion of fusions because even our traditional soca songs on this have been tailored to kind of be uh, listened to by a wider audience. It's not just going to be your typical like hard percussive and iron and rhythmic type stuff. There's a lot of melody. There's a lot of like each soca song that's on it has a feeling of something else. And
Mm-hmm.
I think it's left up to the person that's listening to interpret what that feels like to them because I can't zero in and say for sure any one particular genre, but it all feels good, as Nyla said. That like at the end of the day, we just trying to do good music that feels good, that connects, and that I think the main goal is to increase the audience, grow her fan base and find new fans in different lands, basically. So you're just gonna have to get the album. That's probably Let me just drop that plug in there right now. Album coming soon. We have a date, so feel free to ask us when this date is.
Wait, can I ask you now, or is that what you're saying?
Saying, I'm just, just throwing it out there. Saying,
I'm asking you, when is the date? What is like?
Nailah, tell them when the date is.
The date is the 23rd of September.
Ooh, okay, that is a date.
Tomorrow.
That is a date. Like, I'm sorry. I
You
wish I
heard
had
it
one of
there,
those. Like,
please.
I wish I had a DJ set right now where I'm like pew pew pew. Like, there's a 23rd of
Yeah.
September. Okay. So then, okay, but now, like, when you were talking about this, like this is exciting because, like, first of all, like, how much of the music that you've already released is on the album? We've seen some songs on it, right?
I would say two of these songs that I've already released will be on the album.
Oh, so okay, I thought there would be more than that. So there is like a lot of new stuff, right? So
Yeah,
Oh,
it's basically all new stuff except for
okay.
those two. Yeah.
Okay. Are which two are you allowed to tell me?
Do you want
yeah.
all that info? Okay.
Gonna have to get the
Badum
album.
Okay, fuck
I'm joking. I'm
it.
joking. I'm joking.
Badum will be on the album, right?
Okay.
And Sit Down On It will be on the album as well.
Okay. So now let's okay. So Budum that's the one that struck me as a bit more like R&B pop, right? A bit like
Okay, that's what you found.
Okay,
Okay.
right. But then Sitting Upon It, that's your collab with the Afro Beats dude, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so and that's where I was gonna ask you because when you're talking about connecting other like people and stuff, it's like yeah, like Afrobeat is fucking taking off, or has taken off over the past, especially during the pandemic. I think everyone wanted to invent a dance to Afrobeat, right?
Yeah.
So how much more of that are we expecting?
Well, you're just gonna have to get the album.
What the fuck are we doing a podcast for about your new album if you're not telling me about the album?
Okay.
All right.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know. So,
Like, why are we
so
doing this?
there are gonna be a couple Afrobeat tracks on it.
Okay.
But what I would say about this Afrobeat is that all the different Afrobeat tracks, it's not just straight Afrobeat. There's so many fusions happening in it that sometimes this Afrobeat might sound close to soca, sometimes it might sound close to house, sometimes it might have like a Latin influence in it. There's piano. So it's, as Anton says, it's really just a callaloo. Like, it's such a fusion of different types of music that nobody will be able to say, this is this from this place.
Okay.
It's just world music. It's just good music.
I have a prediction though.
What's that?
Yeah, and I'm glad I'm saying this on this podcast, so it's recorded evidence, right? This is my prediction, right? I believe that the success of this album is going to almost, I don't want to say change because I have to be careful because there's people out there very, very, sensitive.
Right.
But what it's going to do is going to start to define like a different space that soca could live in. And that's going to be good for the genre. Meaning that, to me, and this is just my personal opinion, soca is the popular music of the day with artist who's traditionally known as a soca artist with the rhythmic structures of the islands on it. So if you listen to soca traditionally from back in the day, it had a bit of funk in it. Soca at one point had swing to it. One point soca had a little dancehall in there. It's like whatever is the popular music, we kind of are influenced by it. Now, the lane that we're going in, which is why you said Budum Budum had that popular lane, we are trying to, as I said, increase the listenership, bring in new fans to soca. So you're going to have to make it more palatable, as you would, so that...
I kind of disagree with that just a little bit, but I think that
I wish I could finish saying what I was saying before you disagree. But go ahead.
Finish.
Because I didn't think I was saying anything that needed to be disagreed upon.
No, finish.
I'm literally just saying that soca, what we doing right now is going to make, like, imagine if Rihanna were to drop a song and it sounds mad pop, but it has an island vibe to it, and she said this is soca. Guess what? Nobody's gonna argue and say that's not soca. We're gonna enjoy it, love it, and it'll probably be number one on the charts, right? Which is kind of what we want soca to be, right? So I feel like for us to get to that point, we do have to make it a little bit more palatable, expand the topics a little bit more, expand the space that it lives in. I mean, it tends to live in this very happy, festive space. It tends to live in this world of which is tied directly to carnivals. But I feel like people could enjoy it to the max in a carnival, but I want to be able to enjoy it all year round. You feel what I'm saying? So soca should be able to have a pop lane. It should be able to have a Afrobeat lane. And when I say lane, I just mean like a sound that could, from a sonics perspective, mix and be accepted and it doesn't feel so drastic. Because to be honest, I don't think that it's really been done, at least from a premeditated perspective. I think when it's happened, it just kind of happened. You know, it's like I don't think anybody ever sat down and tried to find a formula to make soca music palatable and to break through on the world scale. I think it just kind of happens every 20 years. One will surface to the top, but then there's nothing to follow up.
What do we
So
think
it's
of
very
like the
difficult.
Footsteps and Dollar Wine and stuff like that? Like those are the songs
Yeah,
that just
and
somehow
more
break through.
recently you have Tempted to Touch, you
Right.
know.
Oh, I
So
forgot
like
that was soca. Like,
yeah, you see, and different ontology to an extent. So like what I'm trying to do, what we're trying to do is just find a little bit of a more steady formula of something that could work and then have follow-ups for it. Because I don't want it to be a fluke. I want to kind of have a strategy and a plan as to, okay, this is like a blueprint, so to speak. And if it works, trust me, everybody will take the blueprint, which is what I want. And hopefully we follow up enough where it becomes a recognized genre. And then we no longer have to be, you know, categorizing our stuff under reggae and all these other categories, which does not represent what it actually is. Yeah, now we can go ahead and disagree now.
Okay, so I agree with a lot of the things that he said. It was just this one specific thing that I disagreed with, and that was when he said it. Meaning, like, I do agree that the sound has to be more palatable, but I think that there is a sound that needs to be defined by the genre itself. I think that as he said, again, agreeing, the carnivals takes it in this one specific space where it's not able to live in these other worlds and it feels very far from it. Whereas like reggae can live in this world music category. It can fit in so many different spaces sonically, just because of like how defined the genre is. And we need to define it, and that needs to evolve, but I don't think that it needs other genres. I don't think it needs to really change the sound completely to get there, basically.
yeah.
I didn't say that though. So I
No,
don't
but
know.
the way you said it,
Brad, did I
it made
say
it
that?
seem.
I mean, like,
I
you
don't
guys are
know.
dancing around different borders and things.
I don't
You know
think
what I
I
love
said that.
though? What I love though is I know because you guys, what you all are talking about is how you basically in everything you're saying, you're talking about music that's straddling borders. You're talking about music that wants to be able to fit in these multiple spaces and not be confined to one that's interacting. So it's like it's easy to see like where you know like where, and this is what I kind of love because every time I say something about a song, y'all grill me. What did you hear? What genre did you think that song was? It's because you don't know yourself, do you? Because you're straddling all these genres.
You know what? I think Rad inadvertently sort of answered that question in Nailah. When I said Tempted to Touch, you heard what he said? Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't know that was soca. And if you really listen to Tempted to Touch, what does it sound like? Sounds kind of like dancehall to me, you know?
Yeah.
And the
But you see,
reason is,
dancehall doesn't usually live in that space, so that's
well,
why it was considered
this is
soca.
my point. But what did it do? The song charted, you know, it did very well. So I'm just saying, we at some point somebody has to ask these difficult questions. I know it's hard for the true soca fans and the true soca lovers, but I myself, I'm a soca producer,
Yeah.
and I've been doing this for many, many years. But something has to happen, and somebody has to try. You know what I mean?
And
And
that
doing the
I
exact
completely.
same thing over and over, and just fingers crossed and hoping. Yeah, we might get another big song like Attempted to Touch, but I kind of am more into the why. Like, why did it work? And if you listen to the style of music around the time when Tempted to Touch hit the charts, it kind of had a sound.
It
Rihanna
remind
had an island sound as well. I don't know
yeah.
if you remember that. That
There's
could
another
easily,
song that played on the clubs along like, every time I heard Tempted to Touch, I also heard that song. Everyone falls in
yeah,
love sometimes. Like it was like in that
there was a
same
sound of the day
yeah.
which was hitting, and Kevin Little just labeled his own soca. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm kind of like it's. I know people don't like to face it, but what really defines the genre of soca? You feel what I'm saying? And if you really listen, yeah, Nyla, go ahead.
Um,
Can I just state for the audience that Nyla literally put up her hand like she's in a class
Yeah, she
and
raised her
Anson
hand.
called upon her as if like, yes, Nyla, go ahead.
I think that one thing that Anson that made him have this mindset, which I also agree with, because it's kind of crazy what people define as soca, is that when we did Baila Mami, neither Anson nor I considered Baila Mami to be soca. But because I came out as a soca artist from Trinidad and Tobago, sonically people listening to it, it's island music, and it was not dancehall. It doesn't sound like dancehall, and it doesn't sound like anything real, like anything else. Like there's no other. You wouldn't say it sounds like Afrobeat. You wouldn't say it sounds like pop. Like it just sounds like island music. And this girl is from Trinidad, and this girl sang a soca song, which even Workout in itself had Afrobeat elements in it. Um,
Workout's the
but
one with
it
Cat?
was, yes, the
Yeah.
one with Kes.
Yeah.
So automatically we know her for soca, so this is a soca song,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
But
let me just add to
neither
that
of us,
because I don't want you to. But go ahead. I want to just add to it when you're done.
neither of us considered Baila Mami to be a quote unquote soca song when we did it, but that song won all the soca awards there were to win, right? So that being said,
Well,
this is
to
where
be honest, it's we didn't consider it soca, but like I said, it was taking a risk in that you put something out there that is good music, and then it's whatever you allow people to to consume it as, and we allowed it to be consumed as soca. And for a period, a lot of people kind of followed that Baila Mami formula in terms of the sound of it, which I was happy for because I mean that song to this day is probably one of our best streaming songs. But when I produced it, I wasn't thinking of soca. I was just thinking I want to make a really dope sound to follow up from Workout. You
Yeah.
understand? So I think this is the approach with this album. We're not necessarily sitting down thinking soca or Afrobeats or anything. We're just trying to make a really good album. And
But
I
in a
feel
way
like,
that's like sorry.
yeah, go ahead. But I feel like sometimes that's where you have to, like, you just have to not overthink it and just do something that I always say if you love it, when it's done, I love it. Chances are everybody's gonna love it. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I love being a soca artist. I'm pretty sure if one of those songs chart, soca lovers are gonna be like, "Yeah, that's soca," and we're not gonna say no to that. Sorry to this day, we met the producer of Sorry. Well, we didn't meet him, but we were in a meeting at Def Jam, and we told them, "Yo, Sorry was playing on the road for Carnival. Like everybody in Trinidad was like, Sorry is soca. Everybody in Jamaica was like, Sorry is dancehall." Right? But the producer didn't even know what soca music was. You
Right.
feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, it's like I think the success of a song as well has a part to play in people claiming it,
Yeah.
especially if it has elements of a particular genre. And That's why we have elements of almost everything.
Yeah.
So I think that Nailah being a soca artist, they'll claim it.
You know what's interesting? Because like, I mean, now that you're bringing me back to that first album and everything, like, I mean, like, or like that those first hits of everything I heard from y'all in the beginning, and it's reminding me of like not just Baila Mami, which I realized, yes, when I first heard of it, when I first heard Baila Mami, I did was like, this doesn't sound like soca. It's true, right? But also, Damn Lorraine. You know, like Damn Lorraine is like a Euro dance track almost, right? It's like,
Yeah.
it's verging on that, and like, and but I think, and even like, even to an extent, Baddish doesn't fall into your typical soca thing, right? And I think
would
that's
say that is
closer.
kind of small in,
more in than the other ones, but there's still something about Baddish that I think like it straddles the borders a bit to me, to an extent. But I think this is also the reason why your songs are on my workout playlist, whereas most soca songs I cannot listen to outside of the carnival setting. Like I will get overload from other songs because I can only take, we have this dismissive way of talking about soca. It's like it's too much happy jump joy. Like I can only take so much of it. I can only take it in this setting, and I can't go. But then there's these songs that will, like you said, live beyond that carnival moment, and I will have it in my workout, my playlist when I'm at the gym, and I'll listen to it, and I'll have it on my party playlist for whatever other not non-seasonal jams or whatever, right? So I think I get what you're getting at, and I guess so. I mean, in a way, it sounds like we're going back to the roots of where y'all started.
Basically,
yeah.
Basically.
Amazing.
I mean, I think it's a balance because we still have our party, festive, indie jam, indie carnival songs, which are on the album as well.
Well, they need to be there.
Yeah, because this is where we're from. This is what we do, And I don't think Nailah will never give up what her granddad created and take it to the level of where he actually wanted it to be, And that's a very important aspect of why we're doing what we're doing as well. There was a purpose for it. It may have been a bit lost, but I think Nailah is here to, fulfill her granddad's mission.
No pressure.
No pressure.
Well, then, last word to you, Nailah. Now that you got the what is it, the flame, you're taking the torch for your granddad while touring the rest of the world, the Olympic rings and all.
My God.
What do you want from this album? What are you expecting? Or do we all agree in terms of what this album is?
I think I honestly think, let me just state this for the torch aspect of things. I think that there would be a follow-up album at some point in time in my career. I don't know if it's the next album or the album after that, but there will be an album dedicated to soca. This album is not that. This album, as we said, is everything under the sun in our own way, good music. So let me just make that clear. But apart from that, what do I want from this album? I want people to see different sides of me. I want people to see what I've been doing when I was MIA, because I've been working on this album for 2 years, and I've been telling my fans, "Oh, new music coming, new music." And yes, I dropped a couple of songs this year, but I was kind of MIA for a while where music was concerned, and it wasn't that I wasn't working. I mean, to be honest, that we did so many songs that are not going to make this album, just because it's too much music. When you work until the point where you're like, okay, now I have to finish these and put this out because it's just so much music, and I don't think it makes sense to keep it on my laptop anymore. But it's kind of like, when you say, "Oh, photo dump." It's kind of like that,
Okay.
But apart from that, I really just want to
not at all unflattering to those poor songs, by the way.
I know. I think I just want to cross borders as well too. I think that the soca pond, it's a beautiful, lovely, gorgeous pond, and the Caribbean pond, and I think that everybody bites from the Caribbean in one way or the other in their music and the different genres. And I think that we deserve a little bit more recognition. And I want to step over into some other ponds and check out their ducks and their lilies, and just chill for a bit. So
if they're colonizing you, you need to colonize them a bit.
exactly, you know what I'm saying? So
Lastly, Rad, I don't know if we said this because I don't want it to not be said. This is a two-part album. It's a volume one and a
yes,
volume two.
Right.
And volume one is on the 23rd, and volume two is going to be the first of the new year.
Oh, sweet.
So, yeah, we're basically giving you, it's so much music we recorded. It would actually be a travesty to not release it. It's just too much.
Right.
300 and plus songs boiled down to two albums. Not that the album has 300 songs, but yeah, we just couldn't, we couldn't eliminate enough to fit on one. So you get two.
And to be honest, we only picked the ones that were cohesive together, because there were some songs there were a lot of amazing bangers that we have right now, but we're like, no, we can't put this on this album because it sounds so left field from where this is at that it wouldn't really make sense right now. So it's just so much music that we just really had to sit down and, like, that puzzle that you just have to make sense of for a little bit because there's just so much happening. And I don't want to be that artist that just keeps gems on their laptop forever,
Well, and I know I've been saying like, oh, last word to you, whatever, but I forgot one thing I wanted to ask you all about, and I've been meaning to talk to you about this for a while. I messaged y'all when you dropped the video for, what was it, Bad? The one that the video that didn't happen, and
exactly.
can we get a little, like, I just want to direct
Don't
people.
remind me. I cry every time I think about that video, to be honest.
No, but I just need to direct people to watch that video. Please go look up the video to Nailah Blackman's Bad, because your pivot was beautiful. I love the pivot. Can you just give us a backstory what happened there?
So Bad, oh my God. Every time I think about this, I honestly don't like talking about it. I'll tell you the truth. I hate talking about it because I get so upset. Like, in my soul, I get upset because that video was so epic. Like, what we shot, where we went, we had yachts, we had cars, we had villas, we had girls, we had everything. We flew to Tobago, we did the whole shebang, and then the footage was lost. And
like, lost how?
Like, lost, like, I think the drive crashed and it was just no longer there. Like, it just no longer existed.
Right,
so basically, at the very last minute, we had to find a solution.
Because we hyped it up too. We did social media stuff beforehand.
We did so much build
knew
up
it was
for this.
coming.
So I called Ian, I was like, bro, we lost the video. We need to come up with a concept. And Bad video was born, which is literally just telling people what happened. Listen, this is what happened. You lost the footage. This is what you get. And deal with it. Basically.
But that's like one of my favorite videos now.
I know. A lot of people appreciated it in the end. Like, a lot of people, they were like, bro, that was like such a cool concept. I'm like, bro, we had no choice. It was either
I'm sorry, I'm happy you guys are having fun, but I'm pissed.
I'm so sorry, Nailah. I'm sorry, but it's like, but look, like, I think like seeing backup dancers do what they can with choreography and seeing the note saying, by the way, they just learned this an hour ago, is so humbling and so nice. And then seeing you call up who are you calling?
Destra.
Destra. Calling Destra to borrow her Porsche. Like, these are beautiful moments.
The Porsche never came.
The Porsche never came, and then we just have a random money tosser. Let me just like start shooting money and colorfuls around. Like, that was a beautiful.
I still have that money in the studio. Funny enough, I still have it. Yeah.
He's like, he's going to reach the money. There's the money.
It's here.
But oh my God! But like, I'm sorry, Nailah. I could see the pain in your face. But it's like, it was such something beautiful came out of that. And I also think I wonder, like, did that influence? You have another video where you I think Anson, you directed this, the one where you're showing the mistake, the bad take.
This is exactly why I started why during the lockdown I started doing videos. Exactly why.
So you don't have to rely on somebody else's shenanigans.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
100%. Yes, that's why.
But which video are you talking about?
The one where you challenge two different competitions, you two different groups to try like the video concepts, and you keep taking, like multiple takes to get the
that one.
The multiple were they really multiple takes? Like were those actual like attempts? Yeah. So, but once again, I think this warts and all presentation, like showing the bloopers in trying to get the story out there, there's something really fun about that and innovative and it's really endearing. I don't Nailah's pulling on her dread so hard. Like what is like,
I'm so happy that you enjoyed it all. I'm so happy to hear this. I really am.
I think the goal is always to just try to be innovative, try to do different, always push the boundary. And sometimes it doesn't work out. And then what do? You cry or you just figure out a way to do it. And I think that's one thing about us. We always try to make it happen in the end, despite whatever setbacks or difficulties. We're gonna always strive to do our best. And I hope people see and appreciate, and I'm glad. I'm glad that you appreciate our downfalls and our stress. I'm glad.
I like it better when you succeed. I like it better when you're falling than when you succeed. I'm sorry, y'all. Now let's gonna kick my ass. Okay. I'm making sure to avoid you when you come to town. All right. So is there anything else y'all want to add before we sign off on this, or?
Do we want to let out the name of the album, Anson?
I think maybe not just yet, Brad. We gave you a lot.
I think you're giving me a lot. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
I can respect that. Let's save a little something for later.
Yes.
You can tell me after we stop recording, though. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you to everyone for listening. That's it with Nailah and Anson.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.
So that's it for our conversation with Nailah Blackman and Anson Soverall. Be sure to check out Nailah at Soca Village on July 29th in Ajax and at the Toronto Caribbean Carnival's Grand Parade. And look out for her album on September 23rd. And now on to Rap Shit. The new series from Insecure creator Issa is about two women in rap who use social media to make a name for themselves. According to a Rolling Stone article, Issa said the series was inspired by comments made by Jermaine Dupri. When he was discussing rappers like Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B, he said they all sound the same. And that kind of diminishing way of speaking about them inspired Issa to make a whole series about the bullshit women have to deal with in rap. Well, Rap Shit premieres on Crave Friday, July 21st. So ahead of that, we got to speak to Issa and showrunner Syreeta Singleton about the show and about women in rap and about that song, WAP.
Yeah, why are we talking about our pussies? What is this?
305, we live! Justin, so clean, deuce, we should start a rap group.
Look, like I was very excited to have this show because, of course, there's something in the air. There's a lot of women in rap content going on. We just had Queens come out. I don't know if you saw today, the Toronto Film Festival just announced the world premiere of On the Come Up.
Movie. Yeah.
Angie Thomas, that movie directed by Sanaa Lathan. Yeah. So what's going on? Like what is in the ether that we're getting this content now, finally?
I mean, I think, female rappers have always been here. We just like, I'm going, oh my God, that they just a rapper.
She's a rapper on the inside. Album is dropping.
We're going to get to that part. We're going to get to that part.
No, but they have just not gotten the same spotlight. And it does feel like you said, something's in the air where the female rappers are able to take control of their own narratives, whether it's via coming up through social media, whether it's audiences clamoring for them, but there's just a different demand for the female voice in that genre. It's been so male dominated for a while. And I think as fans and as creatives, like it's just really enticing and appealing to be able to go into that world and tell that story because we're all aware, like I know even in Angie's book, On the Come Up, it is about that come up story, and it is just about how hard it is to break in as a female rapper in this male dominated industry. And for us and for me, like that was really an exciting story to tell, just because I see so much of that criticism constantly. Like they're just put under a different kind of microscope and scrutiny that feels so unfair.
I think it's also reflective of the culture too. I think they're kind of going hand in hand, just as like female rap is like really empowering women right now. Like women are also just becoming more empowered and more comfortable expressing ourselves. And I think, and then you're seeing it reflected in the art. So it all feels timely. I think we're all collectively going through this sort of like transition and evolution, and then we're seeing it in the music, and we're seeing it specifically in like women-led music.
I also feel like there's also more like, I guess maybe dissection of like the phenomenon of it. Of course, like the last few years, the women were on top. I mean, Meg, Cardi, Saweetie, Doja Cat. And there's even been this like reappreciation of how significant Missy Elliott has been in our lives. I feel like Twitter and social media we were like, yeah, I mean, like we did not love Missy enough. You know what I mean? Like I'm seeing that a lot. So I guess it's like what you said, it's these conversations are brewing and stuff. And you also said that, hey, maybe there was a day where, or I don't know if you were joking, but I was wondering, like, I feel like we all at some point imagine ourselves being rappers, or if it's like, can I do that? I'd love to know what that looked like for you.
I mean, for me, it looked like drinking Moscato with my friends and freestyling drunk, in college, or even earlier than that, like freestyling with my brother. Once we learned how to record on the mic, and him just getting significantly better than me as an artist. But like, there's just something fun about talking your shit, which is part of what rap has become and is just like, bragging on yourself and touting your accomplishments and empowering yourself. And for me, there's just something that just feels great about that feels like, what I wouldn't necessarily do in my own life. It's also why I put that element in Insecure. It's just like, sometimes we walk around just really being down on ourselves, trying to be humble and really just trying to get through the day. And there's something so empowering about having a medium where it's okay to just big yourself up.
It almost reminds me of like affirmations or like a mantra, like, you know what I mean? How you have your affirmations or your mantra where you have to like, I'm going to affirm myself in the mirror every day. But that became like I'm going to do that through rap and battle or fight against, give another voice to speak to my insecurities on a daily. Like, no, you're that bitch.
Well, so if you saw yourself as a rapper, what kind of rapper would you have been? Like, if you wanted to pick someone that's out there there right now, who would Issa the rapper be?
I mean, anytime I see Meg Thee Stallion, I just think that she's so dope. From her freestyles and the swagger that she has to like how she's able to twerk. Like, I've never been that. So like she also just seems to have so much fun with her friends. And she's smart and she can be everything. And I love her. I love her confidence so much.
Yeah. And what about you, Syreeta?
I would want to be like Sweetie right now. Like Sweetie looks like she's having the time of her life. She eats what she wants to eat. She's like so confident. She puts out music when she like really wants to put out music. So it seems, you know what I mean? It seems like she's not succumbing to any kind of pressure or formula. Like she really seems to be doing it her own way. She has these different businesses that she has. She got her McDonald's like sauce, it's like, it just looks like Sweetie is blazing her own path.
I know that's right.
And like, exactly. Like she's just like Sweetie is completely doing her own thing. And so I would like that to me is like the best way to like be an artist in this climate right now. Still make enough money, get to be yourself, choose what you want to do. So yeah.
So like I actually talked to Angie Thomas when she wrote On the Come Up like way back, and I remember her saying it's like to be a woman who loves rap, it's like we love rap. We've been here since the beginning. Like she talked about how like Sugar Hill Gang was signed by a woman. She talked about how and then you go back to the all the way to the beginning. You talk about MC Lyte and Queen Latifah, all of them. But she's like, to be a woman in rap, it's like you've loved it for so long, but it never loved you back. And I want to know, like, how did what was your relationship to rap in that way? Because, and I think we know what Angie's talking about when she says that.
That's a bar. I mean, I think that's so true. Like everyone knows that this is literally a male dominated industry. And we get to have those conversations in the show just about how even if you're a talented female rapper, you are still subjected to this male gaze. And even discredited often to like, oh, they had to have help from this particular artist, or, you know, the only reason they made it is because they're tied to this person. And I think that's also interesting in the conversations about kind of what you have to do and what you have to sacrifice to be seen and to be taken seriously. I think is really interesting, and we've been super, super excited to tackle in the show.
Is there a parallel to that as a woman in television? Like,
certainly, I think as we're talking about this, I'm just like, there are parallels everywhere. I think we're just talking about what it means to be a woman, like, and what it means to be a woman in almost any industry, yeah. I'm sure, and what it means to be a woman in America, and at this current time. And, you know, feminism has been something, I don't even want to go on a whole feminism rant, but I'm like, that's been something that has obviously had different waves, but it's something that's been more popularized, especially like now with the current climate and everything. Like, people are more curious about, or women are using their voices more to say, like, this is our bodies. This is what we will do or won't do with our bodies. And we should have the right. And so all of these things are kind of paralleled when it comes to like the art that we make, how we choose to express ourselves, what we choose to wear, how we, you know, our right to choose. I think all of these things are conversations, and they're all relevant in so many different ways. So it makes sense that it would show up in our music too.
And even to just piggyback off of that, even in putting out the teaser for this, you know, I've seen responses from men about like, of all the stories that you could tell about women, like, these are the stories that you're going to tell without seeing the show. And so even policing the type of stories that we can tell as women which is literally what we talk about in the show as well, is just interesting to me. But men don't get it.
Well, but then that goes back to, I mean, like, of course, I read the Rolling Stone story and how you said the origin of this being Jermaine Dupri's comments about the thing, right? Where he's like, oh, they're all sounding the same. And it's surprising to me. And I'm sure he's not the only one. I'm sure, like,
he's not the only one. I don't want to call him, you know, I still have respect for him. And
but I mean, he's saying out loud what a lot of people are thinking or also saying out loud. But I mean, that attitude's interesting to me, because it's like, okay, you're looking at Cardi and Meg, and all you're taking is the package. And you should know that the club hit does not speak to the album. And you should know, if I judge The Brat on Functified, the title song, that wouldn't speak to the rest of the album. Doesn't sound like Functified. You know what I mean? Like, so it's interesting that I feel like, and again, speaking for just all men and how they look at how they assess the package, I feel like they don't give the women the benefit of the doubt to listen to the whole thing and to go, you know, they just will take that. Do you find that's the case? Like, they only see what's on the surface and they don't go further, as you typically should when you listen to rap?
Yeah, because what incentive do they have to not? You know, what incentive do they have to go deeper? I think as women, we're socially conditioned to think about men and their needs. And even in the content that we consume, even in the way that we're desired sexually, it's always in service of men. Men don't have that same incentive for us to treat us equally, to consider our feelings, to have empathy for us. And so, like, that doesn't surprise me. And until, I don't even know what has to change for that to be the case, but men have to advocate on behalf of women. Men have to have those conversations with men, because, you know, men just don't listen to women.
I think it's this idea of approval, you know, and like needing approval or acceptance from men, which is something that is just baked into our society. It is. So, not to give the men a full pass, but it is like, it's baked into our society, and it's something that we are just actively unlearning. And I think that's what we're watching.
Yeah.
And there has to be a willingness to unlearn.
Yeah.
Well, can I ask, I mean, like, in terms of, I mean, part of what, like, there's a line even in this, in your show.
We in the middle of a bad bitch renaissance.
It made me think about, like, okay, like, I mean, going back to those comments, like, these male rappers in this industry have always wanted women to be in the background, whether they're like in the club, like the strippers or whatnot. They always want them to have that ornamental role. And now this revolution is giving those women the voice. The ones that were in the background of the video all of a sudden have a voice. And do you feel like there's a pushback to that? Like, oh, right, like you were, you know, like that they're losing some of their dominance because of that?
I'm sure that that's part of it, of just like, one, a lot of the music in empowering women may in men's eyes discredit them. Like, sometimes a woman rising, men may feel like reduces them. And I think that's part of the problem, where it's just like, nobody's even talking about you. Just because a woman picks herself up does not mean that you're any lesser, but there's something that you find threatening about that. And I think you have to ask yourself why. And some of the braggadocious music does say, oh, I don't need a man for this. I don't need, and so men might view that and be like, well, F it, like let's go toe to toe then. Let me come back and tell you why you're not shit. But
they say that, and they've been saying that. Like,
but it's like, oh, but you can't. I can say it about you, but you can't say it about me. It's just
they're just used to being in control. It's just different. It's just things are changing, guys. Like change is scary. We know it's all scary. We don't know what it's gonna look like, but like, get on board.
Can I want to talk about WAP for a second. Because, of course, I mean, who doesn't want to talk about WAP? But like, I mean, such a huge song. And I feel like, I wonder if part of like what made WAP so huge on top of it just being a great song is the fact that you have these two women at the top of their game collabing, which wasn't the case. Because we come from this history of Fox versus Little Kim, Nicki versus Cardi. And it's like, and now you have these two at the top and they're collabing together. Do you think that was part of it? And that's part of what we don't see enough? And is that what we get into the show about like having these two voices together?
WAP just felt like a perfect talking point for conservatives to latch on to during a time when, like hating women was the norm. And so I think that every era, like Lil Kim went through it, Britney Spears went through it, like Janet Jackson went through it. There's just always an era of criticizing women owning their sexuality. And so it's literally nothing new. And it happens in waves, and I don't necessarily know that it'll stop anytime soon. But yeah, the show addresses that. The show acknowledges that in conversations. It's just, what I find interesting is when women also tend to tack on to that attack of just like, yeah, why are we talking about our pussies? What is this? Why is that all we have to talk about? And it's like, girl, just
your pussy probably needs to be spoken about, and it's that there's not a no one's not talking about it enough. Like I read this like really great piece on the importance of WAP and like how it means that you're healthy. You know what I mean? And just like how where are we going with this?
The gynecologist approved.
Exactly.
Yeah. One quick last question. What y'all think of the new Drake album?
I love it.
I just listened to it last night, and I actually really love it too. And it's so funny because my son was like, "Can you put Drake?" And I was like, "Okay." He's been a Drake fan forever.
Come on, that's why he's my boy.
And and I put it on, and I listened to it. And I was like, "Oh, this is actually really good." And I like the way it's not full house music.
No,
it's like that's what I thought.
Nice. But even if it was just a welcome change. I saw the criticism before I got to listen to the album, which I'm glad I did because, I went into it like, oh shit, are people not fucking with this? And then listening to it, I was like, I love it. I think it's different for him, and I've been jamming it.
I thought it was a nice blend too, like the way he moves in and out of different kind of like sounds and stuff. It feels like a piece, like a whole piece that was kind of curated and put together. It feels, and then you still get Drake, like the Drake that you're looking for. He's still there. It's just like the sound, the sonics are like kind of shifting.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it for this episode of Now What. Be sure to keep up with us on social media, following at Now Toronto, and check in on our latest stories at nowtoronto.com. The current issue that is hopefully still on stands is the Toronto Caribbean Carnival Guide, featuring a cover story on the carnival community bouncing back by Juana Thompson, as well as a lovely feature on Guyanese food spot Shireen's Bakery by Stephanie Hines, and behind the scenes photos by Nick LaChance and Samuel Engel King. So check out that issue, and then stay tuned for the next episode when Steph Hines, my co-host, returns. Later.